Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in, and in this video we're going to talk about a very important topic that exists within the school system in the US, and it will follow you either if you're in elementary school, either if you're in high school, graduate schools, community college, and yet even when you graduate and you get into the workforce or whatever what it is, like even if you're married and have kids. And this is very important because, as I've mentioned, it is part of the school system in the US, but you can take advantage of it if you know enough about it, and I will talk to you guys how. And also, by knowing how it works, you might be qualified to be part of it, yet you don't know. Alright, so again, the aim with this series, this high school success series and the community college and college success series, is to put students at advantage, those who do not have these backgrounds, those do not have this information because they're either are living in a different country but planning to come to the US, those who just migrated to the US but obviously don't have people to give them these informations, and then most importantly is for those people who are born in the US but because they don't come from these privileged backgrounds, that they have families, they have relatives that went to college or high school and they were high achievers, that can share with them all this information. This is a YouTube channel for you guys in order to get these informations, because I truly never had these people to educate me. I either was laughed at because of the lack of this information and was heavily at disadvantage. And I'm a refugee, so if you were born here or if you're a parent who's watching this video in order to put your kid at advantage or not let them be at a disadvantage, please watch this video towards the end because that will help you. Now, what is this one important factor that will follow you through all different levels of school system in the US as well as afterwards? And it's nothing but clubbing or clubs. Yes, in the US, just like the previous video that we talked about, you have this sports team that you as a student can participate in and become part of. You also have clubs. Clubs can be easily described as these associations that people who are passionate about certain subjects come together and try to enhance that subject, try to do something about it. Now, what's very important to know is that clubs are often categorized in 2 to 4 main different categories. Either there are A, forced on students, or B, there's something that students or participants join those clubs or those associations based on their passion, truly. Alright, and then the third category is that some of those clubs are less competitor, and when it comes to this world of clubbing, meaning in terms of ranking, they have a lower ranking association in compared to other clubs, and some have a higher ranking associations in compared to other clubs. So obviously, if your club has a higher ranking, it is more well known national wise, women throughout the US. It is more well known throughout your district. It is more well known throughout your city, throughout these bunch of colleges that are at a competition with each other, versus the ones that are not as well known or at the lower level when it comes to the hierarchy. They are kind of more about, oh, something like this exists in this college or in this school, versus it doesn't really in here. Or even if it does, it doesn't hold the same, as I said, hierarchy. Now, let's talk about the very first two categories that I talked about, which were the clubs that are forced on students versus the ones that are not. So usually, as we define the clubs, is like people who are passionate about a certain subject come together in order to enhance that subject. Now, it can be projects that they work on, it can be researches that they go through and try to develop certain things, or it can be certain outcomes that they are after in order to produce. However, on the other hand, there are, and it could be very much relevant to if you're taking higher course levels of math, science, physics, chemistry. Now, there are those clubs that kind of the school force you to be part of in order to give you the full credit. Now, I experienced this when I was in high school as well as in community college, where because my math level was kind of on a higher side, and now I had to be part of these math clubs, and as a student we had to come together and kind of attack those areas that majority of students at lower levels who were taking lower math, were struggling with. And we had to basically make ourselves available as volunteers to go and try to resolve these problems that they have, teach them, have these group sessions or one-on-one sessions. So that was kind of forced on us, and based on the time that we dedicated to these activities, we will receive credits, or there were a limited amount of time or certain amount of time that we had to complete in order to receive the full credit. Now, that was a chemistry, robotic, or math club that I was part of. However, again, for example, there were car clubs that I was part of which absolutely did not have any requirements, and I just joined them because I'm a car guy, because I'm passionate about cars. So to give you the broader perspective is that with those forced clubs as well as those higher hierarchy clubs that are more competitive and are well known national wise, city wise, district wise, they will have a more strict schedule, and the things that you have to do will be more competitive in compared to some of those lower ranking clubs, as well as those that people are just showing up based on passion. However, you don't have to kind of make this mindset in your head that, oh, because this is a club that I'm just joining because I like, it's not going to be as serious. There will be serious activities happening in those clubs as well, such as projects that you have to work with your teammates and turn in at the end of the semester or at the end of the season, as well as there are certain clubs that you have to pay the fee because they just want you to see you have the commitment, basically. All right. So just because a club doesn't have that hierarchy doesn't mean everything that is going on within them is not as serious as some who do. Now, what are the benefits of joining clubs? One is obviously you can talk about them in your resume and in your application when you are applying to four-year university, to community college, as well as scholarships or even jobs, right? You don't really apply to a two-year university or a community college, so I just want to clarify that, but there are certain programs within them that you can apply for example, for the scholarship or for these different specific programs, and mentioning those clubs will help you get in. Alright, so I just wanted to clarify that. Now, again, having those names are important, but also, just like we talked about in the previous video with the sports teams experience, it comes with its own experience and diversity of applications that you have to go through, and it will develop your personality and passion, which is something that you can talk about in your interviews, in your college statements, these personal statements that you have to write, as well as if you are basically have to write something for the scholarships. Alright, so that will give you a story, that will give you a reason for something that you want to do in that college or something that you want to study, as well as you have the name to talk about. Not to mention, just like the sports team, they often have end of the semester or end of the season ceremonies, which you will get more involved with how they are done. Basically, how is the ceremony? You will get to know the culture, so you're more prepared in future for them happening again. You know how to dress up, you know what to say, how it's gonna be running. you improve your English and you get to know more people, because now we will their parents, the students' parents, that will show up, and you can make connections which potentially can lead you to that internship or other stuff. So that will be one of the factors. The other factors, obviously, just by being more involved within people who speak the language that you're not that professional in. And this is specific point is about those refugees or those immigrants who come to the U.S. With lower English efficiency. They can pick up the language just by interacting more with people. So by joining these clubs, you not only can take advantage of the banquet, but also you have all these opportunities that you're forced to communicate with these students. And when you're put at that place, that's when your mind picks up these different phrases and is forced to really practice your English. Now, it's very important to talk about some of these clubs again. If they are at a higher reputation level, will give you even a reputation when you become part of them, especially if you are holding a certain title or a position within those clubs. Alright, if you're a coacher, if you're a vice president, or anything, pretty much. Alright, you not only find that group that will respect you, but also you are kind of stepping up on that ladder in compared to other students. Now again, this club thing, it can apply to you as a middle school, it can apply to you as a high school, or even when you go to a 4-year university, and it will be something that you can even take advantage when you are applying for a graduate program. Again, because you have something to talk about, you have a story to talk about, you have a reason, you have that experience of, most importantly, working as a group, working with teams, working with other people, knowing how to handle them, knowing how to manage them. Alright, now this is a very important factor that I've kind of put for the last part of this video, and it's, if you are passionate about the subject, if you see a need for a community about a certain topic, about something that you see there is a demand for, that you see there's a group of people that are willing to put their time, put their energy, and commit to it. They want to enhance it. They want to do more research about it. They want to talk about it. Alright? That will be a perfect time for you to start that club. And I've known a lot of people who just saw that gap that exists within the system, started the club, and now because of that, it gave them a perfect story and execution to show the graduate program that they wanted to get in at Harvard level to be accepted at. Because it was not just them seeing a gap and wanting to take a step towards it. They have a proof of execution. They know that that candidate, in compared to everybody else who's saying that, look, there's a problem in here and I'm planning to resolve it by joining your program, this person has done it. Alright? That will be the biggest advantage for you to start a club, join a club, and the leadership is very, very important and something that will come handy in every aspect of your life. So please take advantage of this opportunity, and in majority of the times you are qualified to be part of that club. Your voice matters to be heard in that meeting, in those clubs, and they need you, but you just don't know it. But you just don't know that you are qualified. I personally didn't know myself that I was qualified for 2 different clubs in high school. And nobody told me. My best friend, who also migrated in this country at the same time as me, who sat next to me, who hung out with me all the time in all the breaks, right, that we had, and we played soccer and stuff, he never bothered to tell me that there is such a club that I'm already qualified based on my GPA that I can take advantage of until I became a senior and I had to find out for myself. And there were multiple other clubs that existed and I just didn't know how they can benefit me. And I never stepped out of, I shouldn't say comfort zone, because I just didn't know they existed. Otherwise, at least I would aim at them. But yeah, I just never had the chance, and that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So if you're a parent, if you're a student yourself watching this video, please take actions, because they can help you in order to put you at an advantage. And it matters how you're taking steps towards that, because it will put you at a different variety of advantages. I hope this video helps you, and until the next video, peace.